that, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Esports Club Series Racing League on Slow Motion Broadcasting. Tonight, we have a double feature from Sebring International Raceway in beautiful Sebring, Florida, as we kick off the Group 5 season, featuring two races that are sure to bring a lot of action and probably put a smile on your face. First up, we have one of the classic cars of iRacing, the Volkswagen Jetta, for 30 minutes of door-to-door action. A little later, we'll bring out the TCR class for their first race of the season as well. I am Charles Boshell, your humble host for tonight's festivities. Alongside me is Adam Thompson, once again doing double duty on the board and on the mic. Adam, we should be in for some great racing tonight. Can you think of the last time you watched a Jetta race in iRacing?
No, I can't actually, Charles. And to be honest with you, I was trying to sit there and think about it for a minute. And no, honestly, I don't know if I've ever watched a Jetta race, an iRacing, come to think of it. Maybe I have, but man, I've slept since then, and I may have had a few adult beverages since then, to tell you the truth. I've had this since 2019, and it should be fun, though. I don't know anything about these cars. And sometimes that's a good thing. It could make this broadcast quite interesting.
Well, I'll tell you, they are. I have actually driven this in anger. Actually, I say in anger. It was a charity race. One of the big time streamers on iRacing does their annual charity race around Thanksgiving. And one year they had the Jettas as one of the cars involved, and I tell you, it'll run about 4 hours on a set of tires, and probably about 2 hours on a tank of gas. So
Okay.
it is one of the slowest cars in iRacing. It is front wheel drive. The rear tires I think last for about a year and a half. You don't even have to change those. But tonight, just a 30-minute race. But once again, one of the slowest cars in iRacing and one of the oldest cars in iRacing. It's probably one of the first 10 or so that iRacing brought into the series or into the service. So it's up for some. We're up for some good fun. I think it's going to be some pretty tight racing tonight. Some tightly contested corners, some door-to-door, little beating and banging. Exactly what you want to see on a good club race like tonight. So we do want to thank Wayne Buttermore, who is sponsoring the race tonight. Wayne, thank you very much, sir. Longtime Ray Esports racer. So we do appreciate the help there to get this race on the air. I know everybody else is very appreciative as well, as we're going to watch him go around here. Obviously, Sebring, pretty well known track. We run a few events here yearly. Obviously, the 12 hours in the spring comes to mind with some much more, I would say, much faster equipment on the track. But Sebring is a kind of a club level haven. They run a lot of racing here. As a matter of fact, I think even IndyCar runs some testing here as well to work on their suspension program. Obviously, with the bumps, that is what Sebring is known for. Very flat track, lots of bumps that just are there, and they've been there forever, seemingly. So it is one of those as we're working our way here through turns 3 and 4, and then to 5, and now the run down to through the little kink that is turn 6. This obviously is flat as we head down toward the hotel, and turn 7, the hairpin, as we'll get our braking marker here about the 3 cone area. Make this dive into this corner, get it straightened back out. As you see, good line there from Wayne as he works his way around through 8 and 9. Then we'll get to the kind of the back half of the circuit. This is Collier and Cunningham, and for whatever reason, I can never get these two right. I think it is Collier, then Cunningham first. As we work our way through this right-hander here, you see just once again these cars. It's just going to be work getting them to brake, much like the TCRs, getting them to brake and then turn at the same time. But obviously these cars not really quite running the same pace as the TCR cars as we work our way through Tower. And that is one of the oldest parts of the track. That concrete in the corner there has been there since the track opened. It has never been repaved or refinished. So we'll get through here and we'll work our way around into, I believe this is Indianapolis and Jindabian. And then finally around through Le Mans, our last little tight corner here before we head down the back straight. This is Ullman, the Ullman Straight, and we'll head down toward Sunset Bend. Obviously, with these cars, this is a very long straightaway, so it'll take a minute, but you'll see some good drafting here, as well as some side-by-side racing as they try and get ready for Sunset Bend. Around this final corner, you see the bumps really starting to come into play here. It just seems sawing on the wheel, trying to get this car to work its way around the corner, and then finally back around to the front straight and to the start-finish line to complete a lap. And it looks like we're about a 2.5-minute lap for these cars tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody can pull a gap. Or if it's going to be pretty much as we've seen with some of the other slow classes where it's just basically side-by-side for the entire race.
Well, there are plenty of drafting opportunities here, Charles, normally. So in this car, I'm pretty sure you mentioned the whole racetrack. I do believe maybe, except turn 2-ish and through Gurney, which is where Edgar's going through right now. That may be the only spot where this isn't okay, sorry. Forgive me, the hairpin too. But after that, it's wide open basically. So it should be interesting to see how these drivers handle that. We've got 15 of them, which is small, but it's big enough, especially if you have a 15-car pack. So we'll have to see exactly how these drivers do. I mean, I don't know how many of them are actually really good in the Jetta. Let me tell you, I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's probably safe to say that 10 out of these 15 drivers probably haven't driven the Jetta. Probably since I got iRacing, which was 2019. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys are doing. But right now, TJ Yankee's on a flyer. I say there are going to be some puns here tonight, and I'm sorry. I say it's a flyer. It's a flyer for this car, Charles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking at the speeds coming through on the timing software, and they're approaching 115 to 120 miles per hour. So obviously, you put this car in a race with any other car except maybe the Solstice, which I'm not even sure it's not legacy content at this point. I think this car is going to end up on the short end of the stick there. You have 17 cars now setting in time. There are 3 other cars out there that have that are still out there on laps. I say that we have 2 cars that are out there on laps. One car may have disappeared from the server. Decided that they didn't want to go through the process of doing this tonight. So we may end up with 19 before it's all said and done. But that's a pretty good field for this car, especially when we're talking about a 2.5 minute lap time, as we see Yankee again, 229.668 setting the fast lap. And he's got a pretty good gap over Kyle Robertson. I've got a feeling that, with only 2 minutes left, this may be it. So he may get the pole position unless somebody comes in on a flyer here in the last couple of minutes. But they're going to have to get it done quick, as you see him off track there. So that'll be done with that. It's probably only 2 laps for qualifying anyway. So he's probably finished. He's just running it around as we see other cars working their way through. As we see, this is Lucas Bachmann. I'm sorry, Seth Bowman. My mistake. Seth Bowman around on his lap, sitting in P8, about a tenth and a half off of Freddie Weaver. And you can see, other than TJ Yankee, most of the cars out here, you see Kyle Robertson half second back, Edgar Santinelli 7/10 between himself and Robertson. And then it's a pretty tight field the rest of the way down. So if TJ slips up, he's going to have company in a hurry as we get this race started. But my guess is I don't think he's going to be able to just get away. I think these guys, as this race goes, will figure this car out a little better. And the lap times will start coming down as we progress further on this race. And then I think, once again, there's going to be lots of side-by-side action here tonight.
Well, let's talk about getting away for a second. I know you've covered this guy, Charles, before. Joshua Soto right now sitting in P4. You said they're going to get used to this car as they keep driving it. They've got 30 minutes to do it. They've already been in the car for about 10. By the way, if we're looking here, most drivers have completed 2, maybe 3 laps. So that's 10 minutes. So if we multiply 10 by 3, that gets us to 30. 3 times 3 is 9. Expect 9 laps around here tonight. But watching Joshua Soto here, a driver that will get used to this car very quickly, and he's already in P4, so keep an eye on him. As we have already ended qualifying, and we got some grid for you here in just 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll wait for that grid to spool up, and I will mention Josh Soto is very, very quick. I've seen him in several different classes, and he acclimates very quickly to a car. So he'll be up there before it's all said and done, unless he just bends it, which he's happened to do before. So let's get our starting grid. TJ Yankee, your pole sitter for tonight. Kyle Robertson on the outside of row 1. Edgar Santinelli starts off in 3rd. Josh Soto, the aforementioned, starting off in P4. Matt Thompson starts off in 5th. Aaron Bray starting in P6. Freddie Weaver starts in 7th. Seth Bowman starting in 8th. Joe Cassetti starting in 9th. Chuck Labano starts in P10. Wayne Buttermore starting in P11. Zach Miller starting in 12th. Charles Bailey, I'm going to guess. We'll see if we can get a good pronunciation there. Starts in 13th. Brandon Carl starting in 14th. Jason Grant starts in P15. Joaquin Ethinger starts in P16. Lucas Bachman starts 17th. Josh Justice starting in 18th. David Finch starts in 19th. And Carson Neal will round out your 20-car grid. I don't think he set a time, but I'm not sure he's still in the session. So he may be P20 for the remainder, but obviously, just as we're going to take the full pace lap here, we've got a little bit of time.
Yes.
So I do see Josh Soto is pit starting, so he's going to start from the back. So that'll be an interesting way to get this race going, as he's going to try and work his way from back to front. And hopefully we won't have any issues with that. So, yeah, looking forward to a 30-minute race here. Once again, I think it's going to be a lot tighter than you might think, because just with the pace of these cars, it's going to be difficult to just somebody to pull a gap.
Speaking of pulling a gap, the pace car's pulling a gap on him, Charles.
Pace car is pulling
you can't even see him.
Yeah, I mean, the pace car, it's got about an extra, couple hundred horsepower on these things. It being a Porsche, these being VWs. The pace car would win this race easily if he chose to stay out there, but obviously he is not in the race. He's just keeping these cars in a line until we get through here, and we're just now working our way through turn 9. So we've still got about 2/3 of the lap here to go. And once again, we've talked about this track. Obviously, flat track. You don't get a lot of help in the corners. These cars, obviously, front-wheel drive, low-horsepower cars. Don't think that's going to be a big deal. The suspension may be a bigger problem just because of the bumps, especially on the back half of the circuit. Thinking about, Sunset Bend and just trying to navigate through there as you're trying to get the car slowed down and turned in, and navigating all those bumps on the back end. That may be our big sticking point for tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like you mentioned, front-wheel drive, low horsepower, doesn't mean they're easy to drive, especially with them being front-wheel drive. So minimize the mistakes. If we did have some Charles Boshell keys to the race, I think the biggest one would be minimize mistakes, especially the understeer. You've got to be careful when you're going for an overtake, especially through the corners. Front-wheel drive cars tend to not want to turn. When I say they tend to not want to, they don't turn very well. So going to be interesting to see how these drivers handle this. Like we mentioned, probably a lot of these drivers don't really drive these cars full time. I said most. TJ Yankee was 5/10 ahead of the rest of the field in qualifying, so maybe he's the exception here, and we'll see what he can do as we come through. Finally, I believe, about to come through Le Mans and down Ullman Straight.
Yeah, here we go down Ullman Straight for this time as we're on our end lap, getting ready to start this race. We see Yankee up front, Robertson to his outside. 30 minutes here, no pit stop. Obviously, it's not going to be needed. I don't know. Do they have a fast repair? I'm not even sure if they have a fast repair or not. So we'll have to check that and see if we can get that information. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Can't get to it right this second. So
I should have checked, but we do have an intermission here, so we'll let you know in the intermission.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So as we said, TCR action coming up here in about 35 minutes. And green flag, we're underway here. TJ Yankee, good start off the drop of the green. Got himself about a 4/10 gap. Kyle Robertson just behind, and you see him starting to work too wide, even further back as we see Santinelli looking to the inside. Aaron Bray running around on the outside there. As we get through turn 1, looks like everybody's through cleanly. Obviously, we're just getting started good. We see Josh Soto coming out of the pits, so he'll be trying to track the back of this field down as we're onboarded with David Finch. There you see Josh Soto coming out of the pits area. And he is going to be already starting to make up the gap as we're still getting too wide here through turn 5 with Bachman and the 51 car. And the other car might have been Effinger as we'll get on board there. Yep, as is indeed. As we've got some new paint schemes that I haven't seen. So the only one I can just pick out is Josh Justice with that petty blue that he runs on all of his cars, and he's just easy to spot, that number 99. Otherwise, it'll be a guessing game there, as we see Soto now caught the back of the field, so he'll be trying to work his way around and work his way forward, as Yankee up front has still got about a half-second gap back to Robertson. Santinelli about another half-second behind. A little bit more of a gap back to Aaron Bray, so we see like a 3-car breakaway here for the time being. And we'll see as we get further down in this lap, we're going to see if the draft starts kicking in and brings these cars a little bit closer together, as we see Aaron Bray now closing that gap up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Now the gap back to Thompson in 5th is about approaching 1 second, as we're what you got there, Adam?
Yeah, speaking of gaps, I mean, Yankee had a 0.7 of a second gap, and it's gone already.
Ooh.
I mean, it's crazy. Once they started single filing out, everyone's starting to accordion back together here. I mean, looking at Aaron Bray, he's back under a second now. Every single one of these gaps is now under a second. Josh Soto, that will change right now. It says he's 2 minutes behind because he hasn't completed the first lap. He is right in the back of this field as well. So, everybody, you were right, as Matt Thompson does actually lose. And looks like the draft is around a second here. He's losing lots of time to Aaron Bray.
Yep, that's what it looks like to me as well. Looks like Kyle Robertson picked up about 3/10 coming down the Ullman Straight to close back in on TJ Yankee. He'll get another spurt of this draft as they come out of the final corner and down the front straight, and you see the gap slowly starting to close back down. It was a 0.5, and now it's under that and closing down even further, so he's going to get another 10th as they work their way, and you see him lift a little bit going into turn 1 once he gets that front end set. As he gets that car wrapped around there, I was just watching TJ Yankee on those last couple of corners before Ullman Straight, how much the car was just sliding it around as he was working his way through there. It's almost like it's like a mini drift as he was trying to get the car to behave and make those corners. It's just exactly what you said, Adam.
Yeah, and he is pulling that gap away over a second now. But another thing that I don't know, and that we're going to find out, is, do these cars bump draft? Because if they do, I do believe this is going to be the way to keep that Edgar and Kyle can keep TJ Yankee and Aaron, for that matter, and now Matt, who is now within a second. Now Freddie Weaver over a second. You're going to see these gaps go up and down. But anyways, back to the bump draft. Is that a way to keep TJ Yankee honest here? Is these drivers bump drafting if they're going to need to? Because you saw TJ Yankee pulled out a second and is starting to come back down again.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like as these cars wind out, that draft is starting to kick in and allowing these cars to just keep in contact, and they're just trying to keep it under that 1 second. It looks like that is kind of the draft zone, is 1 second or closer, as these cars are starting to close down, and we'll watch that gap as they come their way through Tower. We'll watch that gap start to close down again as Kyle Robertson can close the gap back down on TJ Yankee, keeps it within that second. You see it slowly climbing down, working its way down another 10th as they work their way through here, and he's going to keep it within 9/10 there, coming through the final couple of corners before Ullman Straight. You see him just kind of working around, using that curb to get the car to just kind of bite a little bit. You see it bouncing its way through the corner. Now we're at 9/10, and he got a good run coming out of that out of Le Mans. So it's down to 8. And then closing down even further, down into the 7 range, and it's going to be under 7 before they get into the corner, I believe. It is indeed. As you see, all those gaps just compress, 2 or 3 tenths as they get on these bigger straights, and it's allowing these cars to maintain contact. And Kyle does really well to even close that gap further through Sunset Bend and gets a good run out of the corner. It's going to be able to, just like I said, reapply more of that draft down the front straight.
How frustrated do you think TJ Yankee is right now? I mean, he runs a 2:30.025 with Kyle's 2:30.2, and Kyle is still, by the way, fastest lap for TJ, Kyle is still within a second of that lime green Jetta of TJ Yankee. Yankee is doing everything he can, and he's got this gap up to 7/10, and it's probably going to be over a second by the time they get through the hairpin, but watch it come back down. Do you think TJ's frustrated at all, or do you just think he knows this is the name of the game?
I think he probably knows this is the name of the game. Is at least if he doesn't know it now, he'll figure it out soon enough. But it's kind of gives you the feel, and both you and I have covered the Esports Weekend Warrior Series, and it kind of feels like this is kind of a spec racer race where these cars. Well, as we see a move there at Spolman moving to the inside of Weaver, not able to make that pass. Weaver very late on the brakes, but Spolman has got that gap closed down to less than 2/10, basically on his rear bumper at that point. And you just see the battles that are going on here in the mid pack. As we're on board here with Spolman again, he's going to look to the inside. Not enough room there to make that move, so he's going to kind of hang on the back. It is going to lift and allow Freddie Weaver to make the corner. He's going to look to the inside. Nice move to the inside there, but not enough. Could not quite get the grip out of the corner to capitalize on that, as the car basically just bounced over the curbs and kind of lost its grip and was unable to put the power back down to make that pass.
So you mentioned around 3 hours these cars can run without filling up, right?
Yeah.
So what is this track? This very flat track. If I can find Ron, by the way, moved all my overlays around, all my stuff for SDK, so I can't find anything I'm looking for. But if I can find the weather, do you think tires might have an effect? Very flat. Obviously, they're in Sebring. I know it's cooler there right now. It's almost the middle of December, beginning of December. Do you think that's going to make a difference at all?
No, I think we were running the race that I ran most recently with these. I don't think the tires have been updated on this car in years.
Okay.
Kind of like the old spec Miatas. These, at some point they just say, you know what, we don't run any official series here. We're not going to upgrade the tires or update the tire model. So these cars were able to run 4 stints. Basically run about 2 hours at Zolder before you need to change the fronts. So so Zolder not a lot of elevation there. So kind of similar, lots of curbs, lots of flat surface there with some high-speed corners. And these tires handled it fine. They were able to go for, like I said, a couple hours without having to worry about changing them. So I don't think maybe the temp to go along with it. I don't think the temp is just super high. This is December at Sebring, so it's not like we're talking about mid-July. So it's not like they're just melting off the carcasses, melting off the rim.
Right.
So I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. As we see Kyle Robertson now close that gap down, it's down to under 3/10 there for just a moment. And he is really starting to lay the pressure on TJ Yankee. That gap just TJ can't get enough there. As we did see Kyle Robertson set the fastest lap of the race, 2:29.85 last time by.
Yeah, we see some drivers going off track here. That looks like Jason Grant was off track there behind Soto, and I wanted to bring Soto up, so thank you, Jason, for coming into camera shot there. Soto now up into P11. Now, with that being said, now look at that gap. It is 2 seconds up to Charles Bowley in P10. Is he going to be able to do it? With that slipstream, we know Joshua is an extremely talented driver, but you can only do so much through the corners to get to that, to get to the back of Charles Bowley, and then it's just all going to spread back out. So keep an eye on Joshua Soto, now within 2 seconds of Charles.
Yeah, he is closing that gap down, and he's got plenty of time. We're not even at the 10-minute mark of this race. It seems like we've been here for an hour talking about it already. As we see Josh Justice on the back of somebody, on the back of who's that, Wayne Buttermore there. I think I saw him bump drafting with Wayne there earlier. So Josh, obviously a spec racer driver in real life, and runs basically everything that the Esports series does. I don't know that he will do the TCRs because I think we talked to him about that before. But for these cars, I think this fits him quite nicely. And he knows how to bump draft. Obviously, being a spec racer driver, those cars bump draft really well. So he'll keep Wayne honest and keep him moving forward as we're going on through this race. And Soto now 1.6 back behind Bowley as he's slowly closing that gap down. He'll be in draft range here in short order, and he'll have a couple more cars to pick off, and he'll just keep climbing that ladder. back up to the front of the field. TJ Yankee still out in the front, but still 0.3 of a second back is Kyle Robertson. Santinelli sitting there in third, only a half second back. You see those three cars are pretty much nailed together. Aaron Bray has closed his gap down. He's got it back under a second again, so he's able to close that gap back down and make this a 4-car battle, or will be here very soon, as he's starting to pick up his pace as well. Santinelli last time with the fastest lap of the race, 2:29.81. So you see these guys are really starting to get a feel for these cars on how to attack the corners with these Jettas, and the lap times are coming down lap after lap.
They are, and looking back here to Matt Thompson, you mentioned that he is about 4 seconds off the back of Bray. This has turned into a 4-car breakaway. We're only 11 minutes into this race. We're on lap 5, so I may have gotten this a bit wrong. We are going to run a few more than 9 laps, but not many more. And if I could find where all of the settings are in here, I could actually show some straight line speed and straightaway speed here. But right now, I don't believe, as we do have Wayne Buttermore actually and Brandon Carl. Oh my goodness, it's Gaggle, and there's a wreck.
There is a wreck, and we see the car behind that is Effinger there. Losing the rear just a little bit, got it settled back down. Obviously, you get the same benefit from these cars that you do with the TCRs. If you start sliding, just floor it. It'll straighten itself right back out, and you can get back going again. It's Effinger, no harm, no foul. Got the car righted, back on there, and back in action. Closing down Zach Miller, and I'm just kind of looking. Top speed I'm seeing is Josh Soto, 203 kph was 120 miles per hour. Yeah. So that is your top speed that's been reported in SDK. So obviously, Josh is using that to his great benefit and climbing himself up. He's now 0.2 of a second back from Boley to start battling for P10. And he's got Cicchetti and Labano directly in front of them. So you see him taking that inside line there through Sunset. He's got the inside run now, which is going to switch to the outside for turn 1. So he should be able to hang that out and run it very wide and keep his momentum up, and probably going to end up making that pass, and he has indeed. So he put Soto up to P10, and next car on order there is Cicchetti.
Yeah, and Cicchetti is moving right now, trying to move. I think he sees Josh coming, and I just don't know if there's much Cicchetti's going to be able to do about it right now. Already Soto within 0.4 of a second. Chuck Labano next on the list, then Seth, then Freddie Weaver, and then it's 2 seconds up to Matt Thompson, who is kind of on an island right now, which I really did not expect at all here, Charles. I mean, we've got battles in front, battles behind, and Matt Thompson's like, hey, where'd everybody go? But I'm pretty sure we've got enough time where he might get himself in a battle with Josh Soto here at the end.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And, yeah, Matt's doing a really good job. He's just not quick enough to keep up with the lead 4 cars, but he's fast enough to kind of separate himself from the rest of the field. So sitting there in P5, a very lonely P5, as you see, basically an 8-second bubble around him. But I think that's going to change in short order as Soto has now gotten past Cicchetti to move up to P9, and he's 0.3 behind Chuck Labano, so that'll be the next car in his sights, as Thompson's still doing a good job. He's just, once again, looking at his lap time, he's about a second off the pace from the cars in front, but he's probably the fastest or one of the fastest cars of that second group of cars. So he's doing what he can do, but just unable to make up the gap up to the front. I'm sure not being in the draft has got something to do with that.
For sure.
It's going to absolutely help or it's going to not help him move up, obviously with nobody to draft off of. As you can see, this front group now heading their way down Ullman again. This is on lap 6.
Yeah, well, Robertson, I was going to mention this. I jumped to Robertson. He was 0.2 of a second behind Yankee, but Yankee was able to pull out a gap at a very crucial point before they got to Sunset Bend, and now he's back ahead. He is still doing what he's got to do, Yankee is, and just absolutely putting the car where it's got to be, which, again, we're watching top speeds of 120 miles, 123 miles an hour, but it's the cornering. Like, if you make a mistake, especially in a very low horsepower car, you get out of that groove, a car that's very momentum driven, you will lose a lot of time. And right now, TJ Yankee has not put a foot wrong halfway through the race. He's just got to bring this thing home. And we've been really watching battles throughout the field. We haven't really watched Kyle Robertson as Joshua Justice and Jason Grant are going to battle. Right behind that is, it looks like Grant gets into the wall there. He's going wide. Joshua Justice is going to make the move. Where did Jason Grant go? Found him.
I think he went, there he is, way wide. I think he bounced off the inside wall coming through one, and that took him off the track on the right-hand side. Was able to get it recovered. Don't know. We'll get a replay here as we're watching. Just losing the rear going to one, and then losing again, just on top of that. And able to get it recovered. Doesn't hit the outside wall. The Armco out there on the outside manages to get it cycled back in and loses a couple positions, but able to keep the car going. But that was obviously you just saw just too much speed on entry there, and the rear slipped out. He corrected and it bit and just sent him right into that inside wall at turn one. Justice was able to get through. That's going to put him up at P12. Soto now 1.3 behind Freddie Weaver to start the battle for P7. So Soto has gotten through Lobano, Cicchetti, and Boley. And so now he's up toward the front of that second group. He's got a couple more cars, and then he can set his sights out for Matt Thompson.
Yeah, Matt Thompson is now 8.2 seconds off the pace of Aaron Bray, but only 1.9 seconds separates himself and Seth Spolman. So Seth Spolman has actually pulled in a bit of time here on Matt Thompson. He's not on an island anymore. Again, he is slowly pulling that time in, and I want to see here what Freddie Weaver's doing. Is Freddie Weaver going to be close enough to try to initiate a bit of a shake but no bake, just a bit of a bump draft here going into Sunset? Right now, it doesn't look like he's going to get close enough, which, looking at the profile of these cars, you would think they would punch the biggest hole in the air you've ever seen.
Yeah, you would think so. So much like the MX-5, you'd think they would just make just giant holes in the air. And that the draft is working to some extent, but it's not what I would say is a massive draft. Like I said, you're getting about 2 or 3 tenths down those straightaways, but then you've got the extra speed to deal with going into those next corners. And that may be arresting the momentum of some of these cars as they work their way through. But Spolman doing a good job to try and close that gap down to Matt Thompson. Gaps is down to 1.2. Freddie Weaver in tow there, running in P7. Josh Soto is there now, 6 tenths of a second back. So he'll be working as we see Lucas Bachman in the garage with the meatball flag. Let's see what we can see there as he's working his way through Sunset. On the inside of the 770 car is Brandon Carl, and works his way. It's still side by side. There's the bump, and just turned, and that's Carl, and that's a broken Jetta.
Yeah,
that one's going to have to be taken to your local Midas dealership to get some front end work done. As we see, Brandon Carl also has towed back to the pits, although he doesn't have a meatball flag. So I think maybe that was just a frustration tow more than it was anything else. But it was some good side-by-side racing until it wasn't.
Seth Spolman now within 7 tenths of a second of Matt Thompson. So this gap has come down, and it is back there. And look, they're only doing 125 miles an hour down the straights, Charles, but I see some glowing rear brake rotors. Not something I expected to see this evening, but there you have it. As you can see, the brake rotors glowing there on Seth Spolman's car. They're actually starting to push these cars kind of hard, which was my next question. When do gloves come off, especially between Kyle Robertson, Aaron Sancinelli, Aaron Bray, and TJ Yankee? Do they come off? Do these cars have enough power? As Kyle Robertson goes wide, that's going to allow maybe Frito to get by him, or I bet you Frito's just going to push him right back up there.
Yeah, but TJ Yankee's got to slow down. He's got to work off. He cut a corner somewhere, so he's going to try and work that off, and he's got Kyle Robertson just behind him. 3 wide coming down the back straight into Sunset Bend as my voice is starting to go and just –
Yeah. Kyle Robertson is now up into P2. past TJ Yankee. So Kyle Robertson, I say, is up into P2. He is still in P2. He got a position on TJ Yankee, but Edgar Sancinelli goes to the inside through Sunset. Edgar Sancinelli, now the one in the lead of this race. Now TJ Yankee in the position to try to make a move. Is now Kyle Robertson's going to the inside. Gloves are off.
Yep, gloves are now officially off as they're going side by side through turn 1 for the lead. You see Kyle Robertson with ever so much of it. Oh, there was up there, and he's got it cleared, so he's going to take over the top spot. Sancinelli is going to drop down to P2. TJ Yankee still in P3 and looking for a way back. And you said it earlier, TJ had not put a foot wrong the entire race, and when he did, you saw what the result was. He got passed by 2 cars. And then we saw the car in P3, and this is my favorite part of draft races. The car in P3 got the advantage over the 2 cars in front, was able to pass both of them going down the straightaway. So Sancinelli taking advantage of that good draft and allowing himself to get through. But Kyle Robertson, not to be outdone, maintains P2, gets the run down the front straight, able to make the move through turn 1 to take over the lead. And now TJ now has to figure out, okay, I'm in third now. Now what do I do? Yep. And he has got Aaron Bray right there with him. So it is truly a 4-car pack up here as we see Wayne Buttermore, tonight's sponsor. Unfortunate for Wayne with a meatball flag in the pits.
Yeah, we can see exactly what happened there to Wayne Buttermore here in just a second. But before we do that, let's take a gander at Joshua Soto's progress. Up there to Freddie Weaver, now right behind him, and Freddie Weaver right behind Matt Thompson. So P5 still on the cards, very easily on the cards here. Joshua Soto has clearly plenty of pace to drive by himself because he was catching all of these packs, and he was 3 seconds behind Charles, and he's only had 30 minutes to do it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he's managed to get from dead last to P7 in the span of 22 minutes. He's got 2 more positions he's going to be able to challenge for and probably get. I mean, let's just be fair. He's been one of the faster cars on track tonight. He's managed to work his way up to this group that's got Matt Thompson and Freddie Weaver leading it. So kind of looks like he's going to be able to challenge for P5, but there's no way he's going to get up to that top 4 unless something bizarre happens. That top 4 is pretty much untouchable at this point, unless, like I said, unless something bizarre happens and they have a 4-car collision somewhere, which we've seen before, but not normally at the lead of the race. As we see Kyle Robertson now setting the pace up in P1. Sancinelli sitting there in second. TJ Yankee looking to the inside there, coming into turn 1, not able to do anything with that run, so he's going to have to stay in third. Aaron Bray still sitting there in fourth, playing the patient game. He knows it took him a while to get back up here, but now that he's up here, he's going to try and stay up here. So he's going to try and just run the back and look for his opportunity. Maybe these guys are going to get racy in front. He'll be able to pick up some cheap positions as those cars doing battle. And we've still got that battle that we're looking for in P5 with Soto, Weaver, Thompson, and Spolman is still there. So we've got 2 4-car packs, your top 8.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Charles Boshell, not Adam Thompson. Charles Boshell said that there probably will not be carnage between the top 4. So if there is carnage between the top 4, send all of your complaints to Charles Boshell at insert address here, somewhere down in Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll take credit for the commentator curse if it happens tonight. So I've kind of put that out there as we see Lucas Bachman with another slowdown, cutting the track somewhere, running in 17th. Pretty far off the pace as he's back out, I think, after his damage with Brandon Carl there, as we see Buttermore off in the pits. And my replay is bugged out, but I do see Wayne back out on the track. So he's got it. There is a fast repair. That is news. There is a fast repair involved in this race tonight. So Wayne is back out on the track, and he is racing with the group he was racing with earlier. He's got Josh Justice in front. Oh, and a little bit of tap from behind from Jason Grant.
That's
and
what caused
I heard.
It.
That's the replay. Okay, yes. There's your replay. So thank you very much there. As we saw what happened to Wayne, I did hear the car hit the wall and the iRacing sound that denotes an engine explosion. So Wayne once again is back out on the track though. He did come in and serve his pit stop, get his fast repair, so everything nice and good. As we see a battle now for P5 between Thompson and Freddie Weaver. Freddie Weaver deep on the inside there through Sunset, floats it out as he gets through the bumps. And
what a
Soto
move.
Comes with him, and Soto with a nice move to take that position is now looking for the next one. So he's already challenging Freddie Weaver up there at the front of this group, and they're going to go 2 wide into 1.
Yeah, that is unbelievable skill, I would say, and awareness by all the other drivers, including Matt Thompson. And it's just got to be a sinking feeling. You go out a little bit wide, especially in a car like this, and you see one car go by, and you can't do anything about it because it's front-wheel drive. You can't turn the wheel. You turn the wheel more, it goes straighter. Figure that one out. And then all of a sudden, here comes Joshua Soto. Now, all of a sudden, Matt Thompson, as we've got looked like Weaver or Spolman, Thompson, and maybe Weaver all went off track there. Let's see if they get to slow down. It doesn't look like they did. But all of a sudden, Matt Thompson went from leading this pack to the back of it.
Yeah, Thompson got just basically got as they went 2 wide out of 1. Spolman was able to get the capture of the inside and make the move around to get that position to take over P7. Thompson dropping down to P8 as we see Effinger there with the slowdown. But yeah, all 3 of those cars went wide coming out of turn 3. Pretty easy to do as they worked their way through that section of track, and just could not hang on to it. And all 3 cars out on the outside. We're going to get a replay here.
Same
Brandon
incident.
Carl.
Excuse
Same
me.
incident. Okay.
Yep.
No problem.
That was Brandon Carl actually in the chat mentioning that wreck was all on him. And Brandon, thanks for shouting out in the chat. But I think incidents happen, man. Anything happens when you're racing. But speaking of anything happening, we have almost anything that could happen on the last corner of the last lap here. You wonder how aggressive these drivers are getting to try to get the lead. And if I was in Edgar Santinelli's shoes, may not be too aggressive to get the lead, but one thing you don't want to do is be all the way at the back of this. I mean, how much is that triple DRS or that triple slipstream worth as Edgar Santinelli goes defensive a bit on TJ Yankee early?
I think that's a pretty smart move on Santinelli's part. He's playing the defensive game. He wants the inside for this corner, and he's going to hang on to that as they work their way 2 wide through Sunset. He's going to get the run out of the corner, going to be able to hang on to that position, but it's going to give TJ a good run out. And I think maybe just got held up just a bit there by Santinelli. Maybe the run was a little bit early. I think P3 is a good spot to be in. I'm not sure about P4. I just don't know if you have enough time to pass all 3 of the cars as you're going up through there. As we see Santinelli once again taking that defensive line, the inside line through turn 1, hanging on to P2. Robertson sitting there in the lead. TJ Yankee still looking around. That's going to make the run down inside on turn 3 as we're back here with Joaquin Effinger.
Sorry about that.
Running with, that's the 7-8, is that the 700 car of Effinger. And who is that other car?
David
not
Finch.
Really good at good looks. That's David Finch running in P15. That's a nice little battle going on between these 2 cars side by side down the front straight as we're going to watch these guys for just a minute as we're on the white flag lap.
Man, I'm doing really good at throwing you off tonight, aren't I, Charles? Seth Spolman and Freddie Weaver are still going to battle back there. Excuse me. Seth Spolman now losing the position to Freddie Weaver, but he's on the inside. Seth Spolman going to try to get it back 2 wide through the hairpin. They make it work.
They make it work, and no slowdown, but off track for Spolman, but no slowdown there as he kind of cuts the corner there on turn 8. But able to get through and make that pass. That's a good move there. That's a very difficult move to make coming through that hairpin, but nicely done by Spolman as we are still watching this 4-car battle here. It looks like that Soto's pulled out a little bit of a gap on those cars with a 1.3 second advantage over Spolman running in P6. Weaver in 7th, Thompson in 8th. Back to the lead group as we're still on board here with Robertson. Edgar Santinelli still running in 2nd, Yankee running in 3rd, Aaron Bray running in 4th, and this is our last lap, so we're going to see probably some more defensive battling here as they come around the line for one final time. You can see the 57 car getting up on 2 wheels, taking that inside curb, and you see the trying to break the draft by Robertson, running the snake down the back stretch, and Edgar Santinelli doing everything he could do to stay in. TJ Yankee really closing that gap up and he's going to look to the inside. Santinelli's going to block him off, not going to allow that to happen as they work their way around Sunset Bend and around and through back to the checkered flag. So we're going to get a drag race here between Robertson and Santinelli for the first spot. And it looks like Santinelli just is fine for finishing P2, and that's where he finishes. Kyle Robertson gets the win. Santinelli in second, TJ Yankee third, Aaron Bray in fourth. Nice little 4-car battle up there as we see Josh Soto coming across to finish up P5. Spolman in sixth, Freddie Weaver in seventh, Matt Thompson in eighth. Chuck Labano is going to end up finishing in P9, right ahead of Charles Bowley. Joe
Justice just lost that position.
Left, and yeah, I just saw Josh Justice and Jason Grant battling there as Justice runs wide, loses out by 0.3 to Grant for P12. We'll get our last few finishers coming around here, but pretty exciting race overall. I think some good battles in the mid pack, and obviously that 4-car battle up front was something to really keep our eye on. It really was really good racing up there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good racing, clean racing, and congrats to these drivers to drive a car that I've never driven before, and probably some of these other drivers haven't either. And we are going to wait a bit on the results, I believe. We'll get you guys some results. We've got an intermission, and we got TCR action coming at you right after that. I'm trying to fill the airspace here as much as I can, Charles. I'm running out of breath. We're still talking, still waiting,
that's okay.
Still doing what we got to do here.
Yeah, 2 more cars to come around. We've got the 51 car of Lucas Bachman is going to come around and finish 18th. Wayne Buttermore is going to finish in P17. Obviously, Wayne, we do appreciate the sponsorship for tonight's event. So thank you very much, sir. Too bad you end up having some issues here during the race, but we still appreciate all the effort that you've put forth for us. And it was, once again, a very enjoyable race. I'm glad we got a chance to do the broadcast and watch a really good battle here in some old-timey race cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could call them old-timey, I guess, if you're old-timey to iRacing, but definitely a bit new.
I mean, they're not NASCAR 87s old, but they're pretty old.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. We do finally have some results here for you guys, as we can see Kyle Robertson, after that mistake from TJ Yankee, that's all it took. So I'm the one that commentators cursed him tonight. I apologize, TJ. Yep. You can send your complaints to Charles Boshell somewhere down in Alabama. But Kyle Robertson takes P1, Edgar Santinelli in P2 with TJ Yankee and Aaron Bray rounding out your top 4. Again, that gap to the winner only 0.9 of a second after 30 minutes. So great drive by those drivers. Joshua Soto about 10 seconds off the leader, but started in the pits. So started really from 20th actually. Finishes in P5. Seth Spolman P6. Freddie Weaver, Matt Thompson, Chuck Labano, Charles Bowley round out your top 10. Now we've got Joe Sacchetti, Jason Grant, Joshua Justice, Zach Miller, David Finch, Joaquin Effinger, Wayne Buttermore, Lucas Bachman, and Brandon Carl rounding out the drivers that took the grid tonight, Charles. And pretty good.
Yep, pretty good race. So I think that's it. Do we have any? We don't have anybody in. Oh, we do. We actually have a couple of interviews. So let's grab our race winner, Kyle Robertson, and drag him down. We'll have a quick word with him and a quick word with TJ Yankee, and then we'll go to our intermission. So let's bring in Kyle. Kyle, congratulations on the win tonight. Really good battle between you and Edgar, TJ, and Aaron. Pretty much for the entire 30 minutes of the race, and it really was only one mistake by TJ that cost him the victory and gave it to you.
Yeah, that was an amazing battle. Shout out to my teammate TJ, because he drove, like you guys said, an amazing race. Really proud of him. Proud of our team effort there. We were trying to do the best we can to get a 1-2 there, and Edgar made us work for it. That's for sure. So that was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, he did indeed. And so obviously we talked about the fact that these are some of the oldest cars in iRacing on the service that are still in use. So when's the last time you've got behind the wheel of the Volkswagen Jetta? Unless you own one, in which case it's a different story. But the last time I got behind the wheel of Volkswagen Jetta in iRacing was, I want to say, maybe
22 maybe.
Okay.
It was a race. I remember that at Laguna Seca. It was a long time ago.
All right.
And then I did have a Jetta in real life, but that was it went horribly. So I get PTSD driving this car. the GLI had the GCI motor in it. And that, it didn't fare too well.
Yeah, understood. Well, Kyle, congratulations. We're gonna make this real short, but we'll give you a chance to give any thanks or shout outs, and then we'll bring in TJ in for a quick word.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to my team, Drivetrain Motorsport, for supporting us through all of this. We have a pretty good team we've been building this year. Our other sponsors, Me Shirts, and I also want to thank TJ because I guess what's that saying? Steel sharpens steel, or iron sharpens iron. CJ had the pace this week, and he really helped me get faster at this track. He had this race won had it not been for 16, and that guy is a weapon. So I'm looking forward to him in the next couple Group 5 races.
All right, Kyle. Well, congratulations once again. And are you going to be running the TCR race here in just a minute?
Yes, sir. Just hopped into qualifying now.
All right. We'll see you in a few. All right, Kyle. Thank you very much, and see you in the next race. All right.
Later, guys. Thanks.
That was Kyle Robertson there, winner. And now we have to bring in TJ, but he is not as he's got the music playing for us. But this is not TJ here in slow motion broadcasting. This is Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee. You almost had it, TJ, but turn 16 got you, buddy. Uh-oh. Can you hear us, TJ?
Yeah. Sorry about that intro.
All good,
it's
man.
it's a
All
thing.
Yep.
Got to lean into the last name wherever I can. So, turned 16. Just car washed out a little bit. Went over the curbing and got to slow down. Tried to minimize it as much as I could, but unfortunately, with that long straight, there wasn't really anywhere to minimize it with them both pulling behind me the whole time. But Kyle was a great rear tail gunner for a while there, and he took the win. He improved a huge amount on this track, so congratulations to him.
So speaking of not much opportunity to really, when you lose that much speed down that long backstretch, I was surprised that you guys weren't able to gain some more speed, maybe get that slipstream and make a move into sunset. The draft was not as powerful as Charles and I both thought this afternoon.
Yeah, I felt like it was pretty powerful when I was in front, but I didn't feel it as much when I was behind. I had a couple opportunities. I tried to make it stick, but Edgar did a great job defending, really clean, really good defense. Can't really fault him there. But I just want to say a real quick shout out to Drivetrain Motorsports, the great group of human beings over there. Have really helped me develop as an iRacing driver. So
absolutely, man. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and good luck in the TCRs, and we'll see you over there here shortly.
All right, thanks.
That was TJ Yankee. Ended up finishing P3 this afternoon, started P1. Charles, I'm not going to give you the chance to do an outro on this one because we've got another race to get to, so we will talk to you guys all again here very, very soon.
getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
And we are back, and welcome back to Sebring International Raceway, and we are here for our second race of the evening. Once again, I am Charles Boshell. Alongside me is Matt Thompson. I'm sorry, Matt Thompson, who was in the last race. Adam Thompson.
Charles.
So, sorry, the other Thompson, Adam Thompson, is also working the board, and we'll be muting my mic here shortly. So we're here. We're back, and it's the TCR class tonight. For a 30-minute race. There's a fast repair. I have checked already, so we're on store for a good one. We got about 28 cars, I think, lined up here for tonight, as we're just wrapping up qualifying. Christopher Hamilton setting pole thus far, 214.962. Miles Brown sitting in second. Ian Anderson in third. Will Pierre, David Finch rounding out your top five, and we got some pretty good field here, Adam, and I think you and I have talked about this. Neither one of us are not necessarily great fans of driving the TCR cars.
No.
But they do put on some really good racing.
I wouldn't say I'm not a great fan, Charles. I would say I absolutely hate driving these TCR cars, and the fact that somebody in my league decided to drive them this season
good luck to everyone.
is horrible. And excuse
Now,
me, I've got
thanks to
Edgar
Seth and
talking
his brother.
on the. There we go. fixed it.
Yep.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, these cars are just not for me. I've never been good at them, and it's just one of those things that some things you're good at, some things you're not. Clearly, we've got a bunch of drivers that are good at driving these cars and enjoy driving them, as Christopher Hamilton is, as we've already got him gridding up. So let's get through the grids. Christopher Hamilton in P1 with Miles Brown P2, Ian Anderson, Will Pierre row 2, David Finch, Nolan Brommer in row 3, Kyle Robertson and Byron Hayes. Kyle Robertson, obviously the winner of last race. If you guys are joining us from that one in the Jettas, Kyle Robertson starting in 7th, Byron Hayes in 8th, Dennis Daniel in 9th, Chuck Labano starting in 10th, Frito Sport driver, as we've got Antonio Reese, Mr. Double O Tonio. What time did you say it was over there? 4 a.m., Charles?
I think it's like 3 or 4 a.m., yeah.
4 a.m. For
it's
Antonio Reese and starting this race. So good on you, Antonio. Edgar Santinelli starting in 12th position.
Yeah, absolutely. Seth Spolman starting in 13th. Tyler Heron starts in P14th. Aaron Bray, 15th. Freddie Weaver starting in 16th. 17th is Lucas Bachman. P18, Matt Thompson, not Adam Thompson. LaShawn Young-Dilworth starts in P19. Josh Justice rounds out your top 20. Thomas Froling starting in 21st. Kyle Schutz starting in 22nd. Joe Cicchetti starting in 23rd. Scott Brooks starts in P24. Brandon Carl starting in P25, Zach Miller starting in 26, Jason Grant starts in P27, Joaquin Effercher in 28th, and Tom Wentz starts in P29. That's a 29-car grid. This will be a good grid. This will be some good battling here amongst the TCR classes as we're rolling off for our pace lap. Once again, I don't think these cars will get left in the dust by the pace car, as we saw with the Jetta's last race. So yeah, it's one of these that once again, not the greatest fan of the TCR cars, but they are very good cars for teaching you how to do some good trail braking and allowing the car to use the tires to make turns as opposed to just stopping the entire time. So there are some good things to be learned from this, weight balance and weight transfer as well, because these cars are really easy to just lay down on the nose. Next thing you know, you're around the round backwards. So, but again, once again, there's also some things that you can recover a little bit easier from here in the TCR classes. Once again, if you get into that half slide, just floor it. The car will straighten itself right back up. As the front takes control again. Yep. So be looking for some good racing tonight. And, I think we get a little bit different, obviously, with some more speed in these cars.
Sure.
Obviously, they're about 15 seconds a lap faster. You'll see some issues probably in the hairpin. There'll be some really tight battling through this middle sector, through Collier, all the way down into and out of Tower. And then not so much the draft that we saw from the previous race. I don't think these cars do quite as well of drafting as even the Jettas.
Right. And real quick here, before we get into the race, as we weren't able to get into qualifying because it was such a quick turnaround, apologies for that. I did want to mention Christopher Hamilton in P1 with Core Racing. Look at how far. This was solo qualifying, by the way, guys. 4/10 of a second faster than Miles Brown. So that is not what Miles Brown wants to hear from you, Charles, as these cars do not slipstream as well.
Unfortunately for Miles and the cars behind, these cars don't. But that being said, once again, when you get into your rhythm and you get these laps get a little bit quicker as the fuel burns off, then you may see some changes happen up and around in this group up front. So that 4/10 of a second is all well and good for a hot lap, but once we get into racing, may see a completely different story. So we'll keep our eyes on it. We'll give you all the action as much of it as we possibly can as we get started in this race. And they're headed down the Ulman Straight here just in a moment, and we'll get this race underway. And just once again, we want thanks to Wayne Buttermore for his sponsorship tonight. I don't think he's in this race, so he is not. So, but we still want to thank him anyway. Hopefully, he's giving it a good watch, and we're going to watch these guys do battle here for 30 minutes around Sebring Raceway in the TCRs. We've got a good mix. We've got I think every TCR car is out on the grid, including the Audis, even though they're quite a bit further down in the order. Joe Cicchetti and Joaquin Effinger, the only 2 cars that
Oh,
are
no.
running the Audis tonight. So
Something
already
has
some
happened
damage
already.
in the front of, Effinger's car's already got some damage. So I'm not sure if there was a checkup somewhere that we missed, but already seeing some
Real
battle
quick, let's see if we
scars
can get
there.
to it
And we're
here.
just on the outlap. So
Yeah, Joaquin Effinger back here. See if we can get a view before we go live. I don't think so.
Green
We
flag,
are
green
going
flag.
live now, so we got to get back
Yep,
to the
there we go.
front of the grid. Christopher Hamilton, if this ever changes for us. Oh,
there we go.
there we go.
Oh,
Well,
wow,
maybe.
3 wide coming down the front straight already as Christopher Hamilton is trying to set off and hang on to the lead, but he's getting some fight from Miles Brown on the outside. So not over with yet as the cars are still 2 wide coming around through into turn 3. And as we'll get this hopefully resolved here
Yeah,
in just a minute.
we're gonna do something
there we
crazy here,
go.
guys. Just don't mind these cars going kind of slow here. It seems like we may have gotten a bit of a break here from our. You know what? Let's just do this. There we go. We're live. Look at that. Crazy.
All right, look at that. All right. And Miles Brown is out front. We don't know how it happened, but there he is. This is Will Pierre is in second, and Christopher Hamilton has fallen down into P3 and has got a challenge going on between himself and with Pierre and Bromer from behind, who's up into P4. As we see Ian Anderson now with a slowdown coming out of the hairpins. He's got to work that off. May end up losing a position or 2 as he's trying to get that cleared out of the way. And he does move down into P6, and it's back again. So looks like he didn't quite get it cleared all the way, and there we go. So now we've got the yellow flag gone. He's going to hang in there. Kyle Robertson, as we see Anderson with Robertson right behind, looking for a way around already. Robertson feeling racy after his victory in the first race. And we'll see Antonio Reese there moving to the outside, coming out of Tower. Running in P13, dropping down the order just a little bit, so maybe got a little cross up there in Tower corner as Miles Brown is now set off and with a 0.7 of a second gap. So he is obviously looking racy from the very start of this and is starting to drop Will Pierre down. But I do see the gap coming down as they're on the Ullman straight. So it looks like we are getting a little bit of draft help there from the cars in front.
Yeah, and we can kind of see a snake starting already. We're not even a lap into this race yet, as it looks like Christopher Hamilton going to the inside of Will Pierre. Looks like Hamilton might be able to get this done, actually. Will probably doesn't want to battle him too hard to try to not lose Miles Brown. Christopher Hamilton back up into P2. I would show you guys what happened to Christopher Hamilton if I trusted my software to not break again. So we're just not going to do that. We're going to let everything settle down. And maybe we can start showing some replays and hope it doesn't break. But as of right now, Christopher Hamilton back up into P2, Miles Brown P1. Kyle Robertson looks like is off the track a little bit. Gets back on right there in front of Byron Hayes. Kyle Robertson, no gain, no loss, doing fine. A driver that has gained a few positions on lap 1 is Lucas Bachman.
Yeah, absolutely. And even a little further down the list, we got Zach Miller.
Wow.
Is up 10 positions already from the start of the race. We got Tyler Heron with a meatball. So I'm not sure what happened there as we see, I don't see Tyler Heron. It still says meatball flag. I see some damage in the rear of the car. That shouldn't be that big of a deal. I don't see that much damage, but as you can see, obviously quite a bit of damage in the back. And it is enough, obviously, to say that he's going to have to come in for required repair. So tough break there for Heron. As he's going to have to work his way into the pits and get that stop made. And, I do see sparks now. So he's got some suspension damage somewhere on looks like the right front.
Yep.
Or maybe the left front or maybe the left rear. Something's not looking good about that car. Yeah, I think it's the left rear, actually. Definitely the right front for sure, as we see the sparks flying out of the right front of that car. So, he's going to have to come in and get that stop done and use that fast repair. Luckily, he's got it. And it's early enough in the race, he might be able to make up a few positions before this is all said and done. Just some attrition as we keep going here. We'll back up to the front with Miles Brown still leading this race. Christopher Hamilton running in second. They're starting to put a gap back to Will Pierre in third. Will's dropping off, and you saw him run wide there coming out of Le Mans. So he's already – we got a battle up front, side by side between Brown and Hamilton. Hamilton on the outside, going to work his way around the outside.
Oh, that's not good.
There. Oh, contact. Is he going to be able to save it? And they both save it. Wow, great racing there. But you saw both those cars were sideways at some point during that corner, and both cars able to be recovered by their drivers. Great job by both, and Brown able to hang on to the lead, but Christopher Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the race.
Wow. No replay needed for that. We caught all of that. Unbelievable. As Hamilton going to the inside again.
Yeah, Hamilton looking to the outside there as Brown goes defensive into turn 3, able to hang on to that position, but you see Hamilton wants that lead spot back as we're getting some shuffling around in the back of the field there. Like I saw Zach Miller with a beat ball flag as well.
Oh, no.
Oh, we see cars off. That's Freddie Weaver off, and we got the LG car. I could not see who that was, but the 7-car Scott Brooks as well is off the track as quite a bit of damage on those cars. And I think the 33 car Matt Thompson is through and able to get up there. He's down 4 positions, so I'm not sure. I'm sure he was involved, but not to what extent, as he's dropped off just a little bit. We're going to get right on board here with Scott Brooks as they're working their way down through turn 1. See Scott way on the inside there, trying to keep it inside, and then as he floats out, the 27 car flies way in it. Wow. So that was inside out move by Brooks as car ran wide, and all the cars from behind started working their way to the inside. As that car caught, you saw the contact there as the cars converged from different lines, and contact made Scott Brooks around, but no other contact. But I did see a couple cars in the wall with some significant damage. I'm sure Zach Miller was one of those cars as well in the 24 car. So he's got a meatball. He'll have to come in and serve that. So obviously a little more attrition here on the back of the grid as Brown and Hamilton are still out front. Will Pierre starting to track those guys down just a little bit there. It's down to 0.6 of a second as they run their way down the Ullman Straight. But you see a big gap back to Ian Anderson, 3.5 seconds plus already as Hamilton looking to the inside and makes some move to the inside. He's going to get the run. Is he going to make it through? Still side by side, working their way through Sunset. Good run by Brown on the outside, still able to hold that position. So Hamilton with an inside lunge and not able to carry his momentum through the corner and is still stuck in second place. And now Will Pierre with the fastest lap of the race and now back into this lead group.
Yeah, Charles, you are going to have to do something real quick. Let's see how good of a commentator you are. You're going to have to commentate without overlays. I'm going to go ahead and close everything down, close the software down, and try to get it reloaded. So good luck, Charles. Here we go.
All right, here we go. So as long as we stay on this lead group, I'll be all right. I'm still sitting there in P1 with Hamilton and Pierre just behind. This is your lead 3-car pack. They've got a 4-second gap over Anderson. In P4 as they run their way down to the straightaway into the hairpin, the hotel, turn 7. And they work their way through. No real battles there as we see the software reset. So no real battles at the front. They're content to just ride for a bit, and they're working their way around through turn 8 and 9. They're going to work their way down into Collier, and then Cunningham, and then Tower as they're working their way on that right-hand corner, and then very, very sharp left. Fast left around and then floating their way down into Tower Bend. So far, so good. No real issues up there. Everybody content to run where they are. I think this battle picks back up once we get back on the back stretch as they're working their way through there now. Into Indianapolis. Through this little quick left-hander, getting that flare to the outside so they can make their way through Le Mans. And then down the back stretch, you see Miles Brown running wide. That's going to arrest his momentum just a little bit, and that's going to give Hamilton a chance to get a run. And what's he going to be able to do with it? Miles moving to the inside, going defensive again. As Hamilton is content to work the outside, he's going to try and make that run around the outside.
Before. It almost happened again. Did you see Miles Brown got just a little twitchy on the inside, able to hold on to that inside line. Now they're side by side, though, going into turn 1, and this is where Christopher Hamilton wants to be.
Yep, absolutely. Hamilton on the inside going down into turn 1. He's going to be able to have that little bit of an inside advantage and able to make that move around and get the pass made. He's back up in the first place. Miles Brown slots back in P2. Will Pierre drops off just a little bit, still 0.7 of a second back, so still fairly close, but you see he's giving these guys a really wide berth as they're battling through some of these corners, not wanting to get in, stick his nose in and get involved, as they're still, even with the battling up front, they're still pulling the gap to P4, the gap up to almost 4.5 seconds now over Anderson in fourth. He has Robertson and Bromer and Hayes in tow. So that is your battle for P4 through P7, excuse me. Then Chuck Lobano 1.7 seconds back, and he's got Santinelli, Finch, and Daniel with him. So you see the cars are starting to pack a little bit as we get in some nice 4 and 5 car battles here through the field before it starts spreading out back, starting with Aaron Bray in 12th. There's a couple of battles back there with Josh Justice, Antonio Reese battling for P15. And then Schutz and Cicchetti battling for P17. But the back half of the field starting to spread out just a little bit as the packs up front are still doing battle and battling pretty hard, as we're on board here with Dennis Daniel trying to stay in the toe of David Finch. As we're back on board, the Brown with the battle back, taking the inside line there, trying to get past, not able to quite do it there through Indianapolis. Still battling with Hamilton. Will Pierre has closed that gap back up as these guys are still fighting. And who's got the run coming down Ullman?
Yeah, let's see here. Miles Brown right now in the lead of this. Christopher Hamilton back in P2, and it does look like I am having some serious computer problems all of a sudden, guys, so excuse me while I try to work this out. Apologies if you guys are getting some buffering on the stream here. Let's hope it all works itself out. But as of right now, we are watching Miles Brown, Christopher Hamilton go into town there in Sunset, and now back down into turn 1. Looks like they're doing okay. Charles, we are going to have to go to a break.
All right, let's go to a break. We'll be back as soon as we can, ladies and gentlemen. So give us just a couple minutes and let the get the technical gremlins sorted out. We'll keep you updated as soon as we get. All right, and we are back. We think we've got our technical issues worked out. No change to the front group. Hamilton, Brown, and Pierre, your top 3. Still, they've opened up a 6-second gap over Kyle Robertson, who's still got Ian Anderson, Nolan Bromer, Byron Hayes, and Chuck Leblano now has joined this group. So now we've got a nice 5-car group up here battling for that second pack. We did hear that the broadcast was down for just a minute. Sorry to everybody there who was watching. We are back now. I believe we've got everything sorted out. So hopefully we'll be able to continue this race. It can give you the second half uninterrupted as we're about 13 and a half minutes in as we're on board here with Chuck Lobano running in this second group. You see now up to looks like 6 cars as we see Anderson and Robertson battling up the front of this group now to see who's going to lead them around. And it looks like Robertson was able to get the advantage on the inside there through Sunset and take that back over.
Hang on, Charles. Hang on. We got to stop right now. I got to call this guy out right now. By the way, Brandon, Charles just called you out because he has voice chat on. Rest in peace, the broadcast. Rip the broadcast. No, we're still live, Brandon. So why don't you go and go faster on those terms, please. But Brandon Carl right now calling us out. We never actually had to shut the broadcast down, so I think we did okay. But back up here to the front, now that I'm done, just poking on Brandon Carl just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see his logo up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So Brandon, obviously a really good guy and has done some sponsorship with us. So, it's all in good fun. Adam's just a meanie sometimes. You have to just take it as it is. And but yeah, so we are back. Obviously, I think we've got our issues sorted out, so we should be okay for the remainder of the race as we're on board here with this second group. This is David Finch running in 10th. He's got a nice long line of cars right in front of him, kind of stuck there as he is right behind Edgar Sancinelli in this group that has Kyle Robertson leading in P4. And we have, as we see that, and we have Ian Anderson in the Cookie Monster car running in that Hyundai Elantra, running in 5th. Nolan Bromer sitting there in P6. Byron Hayes in 7th. Chuck Labano 8th. Edgar Sancinelli 9th. David Finch 10th. And now Dennis Daniel in 11th has joined this group. So add another car to this group as we see maybe that the fighting between Kyle and Ian up there in the front of this has kind of put a cork in the bottle for this second group, and we've got a nice little train of cars.
It has, and speaking of corks in the bottle, one that has been uncorked is Christopher Hamilton. Found his way past Miles Brown, is now 1.1 seconds ahead. I called this in qualifying. This is what he needed. He is now way out of slipstream range. Miles Brown is going to have to drive a perfect race to get back up to him, but as we see that gap still growing, now Will Pierre is starting to maybe take some shots now at Miles Brown, because Will Pierre still in that slipstream as Christopher Hamilton sets a 2:15.703. First driver in the 2:15s this afternoon.
Yeah, and that was 0.4 of a second faster than every fast lap previous. So yeah, obviously great lap by Christopher that time, and able to extend that gap up to 1.7 now over Miles Brown. So not really sure what's going on there with Miles Brown, both running in the Honda Type R TCR car. So it could be I don't think it's a matter of setup. I think they're running fixed set, so I don't think that's got anything to do with it. Christopher's just figured out the rhythm and is setting sail, and now the draft is broken, and so Miles is going to have to do battle with Will Pierre, who has got that car basically about two car lengths behind, 0.3 of a second. So that Hyundai will be closing the gap as we see this second group now led by Robertson, 8 seconds behind. Don't know that they're going to be able to get back up there. Looks like the gap was about 0.6 between Pierre and Robertson last lap. So they're going to have to do quite a bit of work to make up that stagger in the final 14 minutes of this race.
So this is a perfect example of our software probably being completely wrong, because I've been seeing quite a few slowdowns actually. I've seen a few yellow flags there on our timing tower on the left side. It's only showing off tracks. The biggest off track number we have right now is 3, and that's for Miles Brown. So again, great job on the software trying to figure out what the off tracks are here around Sebring, because as you can see, they are, especially going through Lamar Curve, they are not using those white lines at all.
Yeah, absolutely not. And if you've reset your software, then you're going to lose some of your data. So that might have something to do with it.
Yep, you got it, Charles.
So I do see, I'm looking at it. Mine has been running the entire time. I think the highest I see is 6. So still not necessarily a lot of off tracks here. So drivers doing a really good job. You see this battle here between Pierre and Brown coming their way through Sunset and down the front straight. Side by side gap, less than a 1/10 of a second. 2:15.4, fastest lap of the race. See Brown on the inside, Pierre going to try and hang it on the outside, really closing it down really tight, coming out of turn 1 into turn 2. Gets to stay out in front. Brown able to hang on to P2. Pierre still running in P3. We see the battle here between Robertson and Anderson for P4. As you see Anderson looking for some alternate lines, crossing over. They're trying to find a way around. He feels like he's faster, just can't find a way around Robertson for right now. The gap is starting to close up to the group, and just as soon as I said that, it's opened up 7 more tenths. We see still battling there as you see Kyle hanging on to P4, and you see cars now really starting to tighten up behind them. So really a recipe for disaster here as these cars are just basically nose to tail coming into the hairpin for sure. Side by side, almost there and not quite enough. Again, Anderson able. We got a lap car as well coming through.
Oh my goodness.
That is the 2:15. It's back out front for Kyle, and could not see that lap down car who that was, but wrong place, wrong time for sure, as that entire group was trying to work their way through.
Believe that may have been Thomas Frawling. Yep, I think it was Thomas that they were trying to get through there, maybe. Yeah, they got through it, and back up here to the front, Christopher Hamilton has just absolutely set sail. I want to mention something here real quick. Best lap time for Christopher Hamilton, 2:15.41. Best lap time for everyone else in the field, still in the 2:16s. Absolutely checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you see the Will Pierre running in second. Kyle Robertson 3 seconds behind now. Oh, hang on. Where is
Whoa!
Where? Oh, so we see a car off there. Where is our P2 runner that was up there leading this race just a few moments ago?
Miles Brown. That may be the driver we thought was a lap car. That was Miles Brown falling down through the field there in P10. Let's see if we can get a replay of that and see if I can't break my software again, if I can find it.
Yeah, if you can find that, that would be interesting to see how that happened, as we see Miles Brown now dropped all the way down into P10. And Will Pierre, 5 second gap. Obviously, I'm going to say maybe some shenanigans between Pierre and Brown. Yeah, very possible there were some shenanigans involved. They're working their way down through Sunset. You see Will Pierre with a late dive on the inside there to take the inside line through Sunset Bend. They work their way around. You see the cars are running wide and don't see anything there yet. They're still running side by side down the front straight.
Nothing there.
And we're going to work our way down into turn 1 here. And we got enough room for everybody to get through there. Kind of looks like it. And they get a little tight. And there's the contact a little bit there. You see Pierre run wide. And that was enough to get him. But now what happened to Miles Brown? So what did we see, or what we didn't see there is they're coming through. And as you can see, this is them coming out of turn 7.
Oh, my goodness. He just stopped.
Ooh. He did indeed. I'm not sure what's going on there, but way off the pace. I don't know if he maybe broke something on the car. I didn't see a meatball flag come up, so just not really sure what's going on. I don't know. That's one of those that I wouldn't think he's out of fuel halfway through the race. And so I'm not really sure. We're going to look on board here again as we're coming out of turn 6. Down the straightaway, heading down into the hairpin.
He just stopped.
Just off the pace. Yeah, just not really sure what's going on there.
Yeah, let's see if we can maybe get a cockpit view.
Well, that's Pierre. We need Brown.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a problem there. But
yep,
he's.
It kind of looks like maybe he's a little right hand down on the steering wheel, but
he gets back on the throttle now, though. What happened?
That's strange. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all.
Burrito by and got back on it. That was something I don't know if I've ever seen in iRacing. With nothing on the software to show us what exactly happened there. Wild for Miles Brown, but now he's marching back up through the field, back past Edgar Sancinelli there. There's a contact between himself and Edgar Sancinelli going through turn 1.
Yeah, you see the little bit of traffic there as those cars were working their way through, and Brown able to get by Sancinelli to pick up P9. I guess the only thing I could think of is maybe he had a slowdown somewhere that we didn't see, that didn't show up on the software.
That's slow though. He had to.
Yeah, but it was very slow. I would agree. So that felt like something. The only thing I can think of is he just got out of it and said, there's too many cars behind. I'm going to let them all go.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's working his way back up through. You see him making the move around David Finch there to take over P8. So he's going to try and make his way back up to the front of the field. How far he can manage to get, I think probably he can get back up to P3 before it's all said and done, but he's got to clear these cars pretty quickly. Obviously, he had some really good pace at the beginning of this race. Hamilton and Pierre basically had just checked out, left everybody else behind, so I think he's got the pace to catch back up. And obviously with Pierre maybe getting held up a little bit as Brown slowed down, as he worked his way around. Obviously, you see the gap now to Hamilton, 6 seconds between himself and Pierre, and then another 8 seconds back to Robertson sitting in third. And you see Miles Brown again, Kyle Robertson sitting there right in front of Ian Anderson. That battle has tamed a little bit, but I think it heats back up here in short order. We got about 5 minutes left to go in this race.
Jason Greider said maybe hardware issues. I don't know. That's a weird time to have hardware issues because he was still on throttle. I mean, he was just very little on throttle, and the wheel was still straight. I mean, he was still on the road. I don't quite know. That's going to be a question that we may not be able to get answered. Normally, our software is very, very good at telling on people when they do something wrong, but we saw nothing that was wrong there. Lucas Bachmann with a slowdown there, back in P17 after Le Mans curve, and I mean that's a weird spot to get a slowdown too, unless he got it probably maybe between Jindabine Bend and Le Mans curve. That may be where he got it done, and he still has a slowdown. He's going to have to get it served quick.
Yeah, you got to get that wrapped up because it's going to be about 30 seconds or so of track time. There we go. Looks like it's cleared now. So the only thing that the things that we don't know about, obviously, we don't expect it to be maybe a hardware failure because everything looked like it was still functional. It could have been something just simple as a cat jumping up in your lap, which we've had happened before. Or a dog, either one coming up to get some attention while you're in the middle of your race. I've heard of those things happening, so you never can tell. Maybe we'll find out from Miles later on what the issue may have been. As we're back looking here at this battle between Kyle Robertson and Ian Anderson, this is the battle for P3. As we see Anderson still looking for a way around, he just can't find a spot. Kyle doing a great job of driving defensively, keeping the car wide in front, not allowing Anderson a chance to get through as they're basically, it's a two-car battle at this point. Miles Brown now up to P7. So you see Chuck Lomano going a little wide in P6. Not what you want to do when you got a fast car behind. Is going to be looking for a way around. And he's got also Byron Hayes right there. So they've got a three-car battle.
Get spicy.
P5.
Looks like Chuck Lomano gets moved, but there may have been some contact between Miles Brown and Byron Hayes as Byron now gets shuffled back to P7. Miles Brown now up back into P6. Byron Hayes, Byron Hayes now to the inside of Miles Brown, trying to get that position back. Well, Miles Brown is trying to chase down Chuck Lomano here. This is starting to get a bit spicy as we've got 3 minutes left in the race. 2:15 our lap times here. Looking to see, I think they might get one more in. I think we are on the penultimate lap here.
I think you're absolutely right. I think we have one to go when we cross the line the next time by, as we see Will Pierre there 6.5 seconds back. Kyle Robertson another 10 seconds back behind him, and that is
Ian
where
Anderson
the fun
still
starts.
on him.
Ian Anderson's still on him, 0.3 of a second back. They've opened up a bit of a gap to Chuck Lomano as Chuck Lomano is in a fight for his life between himself. And we see Kyle Robertson a little bit, and that's a slowdown. He's going to have to serve that. How's he going to make that done? So he's going to stay on the inside here, running down the straightaway into the hairpin turn. He's going to have to lift at some point and kind of let this slowdown work its way off. Anderson's going to look to the outside. He's going to try and stay defensive if he can and hold him off. And I think he's just about going to get that done. There it goes. So able to hang on to the position. So great defensive job once again. But now Miles Brown in P5 in the front of this group that contains himself, Lomano, Hayes, Bromer, Finch, Sancinelli. And now Miles Brown, with about a lap and a half to go, has about 2.8 seconds to get up to that group that's Robertson and Anderson. He wants those guys running side by side for as much of this next lap and a half as they can do. As we see Josh Justice there, P13, right behind Dennis Daniel. Got a nice battle here between those two, along with Seth Spolman and Antonio Reese. That is the battle for P12. And you see Antonio there still running around in the 914 car and right behind Spolman. So this battle continues on. You see just ahead of those guys was, I believe, Aaron Bray. So we got Anderson back on board with him. The gap is 11 seconds between Robertson and Pierre, so no chance, knock on wood there, for that to change. So now it's going to be Anderson versus Robertson down the straightaway. Anderson hanging to the inside as much as he can, and Robertson really squeezed him up against the wall, and they're still nose to tail working their way through Sunset, and around Sunset Bend they come. One more time around.
Oh my
goodness
gracious!
To the outside wall there.
Holy
These guys
crap!
are putting on a show. 0.4 of a second. The gap between those two cars, you see Miles Brown back there, 1.9. He is closing that gap in a hurry. So they're going to have to do something, or they're going to get him involved in this as well. And he's bringing a whole host of cars with him. So these guys need to get this sorted out quickly. We see Robertson still there sitting in third. Anderson still in fourth, 0.4 of a second. That gap is still closing down under 1.7 now to Brown. So he is still closing the gap down, and they're going to run their way down the straightaway here into the hairpin for the final time of the race. And we see that battle up front, 0.28, 0.27. And that opens up a little bit as Anderson a little early on the brakes as they work their way out. And it starts closing back down. So Anderson getting a really good run out of the corners. He's got a good run down through here, through this set of corners. And he's going to take the outside line for Collier. And we see Spolman down with a slowdown. So that's going to take him out of that battle there. They're still side by side working their way through in through Cunningham, heading their way into Tower. And Anderson is going to take that position over.
This may have been a bit of a strategic move here from Kyle Robertson, but Kyle's got to stay close now through Lamar. He's got to be as close as he can, as it looks like Anderson's going a bit defensive. I wonder if Kyle Robertson is actually going for the move. He is! They make contact! Oh my goodness, Ian Anderson holding on to it somehow! Can he hold on to it? Ian Anderson all over the road, has to go wide. Kyle Robertson by him.
Oh, wow. I think I know what you were saying. I think Kyle was maybe letting him go to get a run down the final straightaway to get by, and just a little bit of contact there as they're heading their way into Indianapolis. And you saw Anderson with a great job just to hang on to the car, but he's dropped all the way down to P7. And that's got Miles Brown only 2 cents per second back. So Miles Brown is on the back of Robertson. This battle is not over with yet. Miles is going to be able to get a run here on Robertson here coming out of Sunset for the final time up the front straight. Are they going to be able to go side by side? It's tightening down, but it's not going to be enough as Robertson takes P3. Hamilton with the win. Will Pierre in second. Kyle Robertson third. Miles Brown in fourth. Chuck Lobano ended up in fifth. Ian Anderson in P6. And then the rest of the top 10, Hayes, Bromer, Finch, and Sanchinelli. So great battle there, not only in the front group, but in that second pack as well.
Not over yet. Brandon Carl still trying to make a move on Jason Grant. Jason Grant goes really wide. He tries to go defensive. Brandon Carl says, no thank you. Contact made between Brandon and Jason going into the final corner of Sunset. Brandon Carl's going to get that move done.
Yeah, great move.
Oh, no!
Oh, wow.
What a send by Jason Grant back to the inside. Brandon Carl over-undering him. The over-undercut. Unbelievable racing to the line here.
Great bit of racing there as those cars get through, and Carl takes P20 over Grant. But you saw Grant, he let it all hang out going into Sunset. Really late dive on the inside. Just could not get it slowed down enough, and Carl able to work his way back underneath and take the spot back over. But great racing between those two guys on the last lap as we see the rest of the cars coming around. And I think that is everybody who has, I think it's everybody crossing the start-finish line. So we'll get our race results. Christopher Hamilton, your race winner tonight. Will Pierre finishing second. Kyle Robertson in third. Miles Brown in fourth. Chuck Lobano fifth. Ian Anderson finishing in P6. Byron Hayes in seventh. Nolan Bromer finishing in eighth. David Finch finishing in ninth. Edgar Sanchinelli rounding out your top 10. Aaron Bray, Dennis Daniel, Josh Justice, P11 through 13. Antonio Reese finishing in 14th. Seth Bowman 15th. Kyle Schutz finishing in 16th. Lucas Bachman 17th. Joe Cicchetti finishing in P18. Matt Thompson finishing in P19. Brandon Carl rounding out your top 20. Jason Grant 21st. Scott Brooks, 22nd. Freddie Weaver, 23rd. Zach Miller, final car on the lead lap, finishing in 24th. Thomas Froling in 25th. Tom Went finishing in 26th. LaShawn Young-Dilworth in 27th. And Tyler Heron finishing 28th. And Joaquin Effinger rounding out your 29-car finishing grid. Great bit of racing there at the front, especially in that second pack. Just battles all over the track tonight, Adam.
My goodness, was it really? I mean, that was awesome to see at the end as well between Scott Brooks. Between Jason Grant and Brandon Carl, the over-unders, just the awareness from Brandon Carl to know Jason Grant was going to send it in there as hard as he could. The over-under from Brandon. That may not have been the win of the race, but to me, that was the move of the race. Unbelievable driving by those two.
Absolutely was. And we have some racers in our waiting area ready to do some interviews. So, Adam, you want to start us off tonight for this race and give yourself the pick of the litter there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and take Mr. Will Pierre, who finished P2 this evening. Will, congratulations on the P2. It just you and Christopher had a battle there. Not really, but tried to have a battle there for a while, and Christopher just had the pace, man.
Yeah, I did not have the pace. I'm not very good in the TCRs. I didn't practice a whole lot, but I did okay, I think. I was having a good battle with Miles, but I just heard from Kyle that he hit his pit limiter, which is why he slowed down.
No
he get
way.
Gauge.
So we were wondering exactly what happened to Miles Brown because he was up there doing a great job, obviously leading the race for a while, and I was dumbfounded, to say the least. I didn't know if he was that confident that he was that much faster than everybody else in the field, but clearly not. But Will, back to you, man. Once Miles had that bit of an issue, things started to clear out a little bit, and you were kind of on an island by yourself. But talk to me about TCRs around Sebring. How do they drive?
I am of the opinion that TCRs drive bad.
Thank you.
They have understeer everywhere, the time, and it's not how a front-wheel drive race car should drive. A front-wheel drive race car should have at least a moderate amount of want to kill you anytime you're off throttle, and these cars just push everywhere all the time.
Sure.
The only way they rotate is if you dump the bias to the rear and hit the brakes.
I could not have said it better myself. I'm glad I've been not complaining, but voicing my opinion about TCRs this whole broadcast, and you just summed up everything I wanted to say for the last 30 minutes, Will. But congratulations, man, on your P2. Anybody you want to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Shout out the boys at Anderson Motorsports Performance and the guys at Racer on Rails. I've been racing with them for a while now, and my friends Ian and Carrie are now with Racer on Rails, so they're exploring a new venture. And I just want to say that they're awesome for inviting me to this Ray Esports team and getting me into racing. It's been a big benefit to my real life racing skill as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Will, and congratulations on your P2, man. I hope to talk to you again soon.
See ya.
That was Will Pierre there, P2 overall. Well, P2 tonight. Sorry, we don't have classes tonight. Charles, who do you want?
Let's bring in Kyle Robertson, and we'll talk to him about his escapades tonight. Since we interviewed him a little bit earlier, but we'll get another one in here, and let's see if I can get him. It's almost not enough room. All right, there we go, Kyle. Welcome in again. So hey. P3 tonight, but you had yourself quite the battle with Mr. Ian Anderson there for most of the night.
Lord have mercy. Ian made me work for that one. That was a blast. Honestly, I did talk to Ian, I guess, after the race, and I was like, I'm not sure if that contact was my fault or not. If it was, I do apologize. So, it's hard racing. I tried not to, race make any contact, but he said it was cool. And from everyone else I talked to, they said it was, hard racing. So it was a blast, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you had a really big group behind you. I mean, it was the biggest group on the track. Like I said, for most of the race, you had 6 or 7 cars involved in that. So not only did you have Ian back there, but if there would have been any slip ups, you did quite a few more up your chuff there, as they would say across the pond. But
okay, Charles.
but anyway, so no, it was a good group, some really good racing back there. Obviously, not quite enough pace. Looks like, and then you had a late charge there from Miles Brown, who you had to avoid during the mid part of the race, as he accidentally hit his pit limiter, battling for P2. And then the next thing you know, he's back there with you guys, and you guys are having to do your best to avoid him.
Yeah. Miles is actually is one of our Drive Trainer Motorsport teammates. So I was cheering him on while we were racing, and then when I heard what happened, I was like, oh man, okay, well, hopefully he can try and get it pressed. And I saw him around the hairpin. I was like, oh wow, he's right here. Let me get out the way. And then when he caught me on the last lap, I was like, okay, Miles, are we gonna battle this in turn 17? What's going on here?
Well, I guess it's good that it was a teammate, so you could at least commiserate him a little bit with the mistake that he made, and then talk about the racing overall. So congratulations, you had obviously P1 and P3 tonight, so you've had a pretty good night at the track, and so we'll let you once again give thanks for shout outs.
Yeah, this was, I think, the best esports, I guess, collection of races I've ever had. So I'm excited, and I'm just, like I said, thankful. Like I said earlier, I know Thanksgiving was last week, but I'm thankful for my team, Drive Trainer Motorsport, my teammates. I think we had a couple in here for this race. We had Miles Brown, Kyle Shook, Byron Hayes, Dennis Daniel, and LaShawn Young Dilworth. So Drive Trainer is in here with 6 cars deep. We try and practice together and try and make each other faster. So it's great to see the growth of our team and us coming out here and doing this in numbers, and we love this series, so we're just happy to have Stevie put the series on for us. Thank you to Seth for sponsoring this race, for Wayne sponsoring the Jetta race. Thank you to you guys for the broadcast, because watching this back is fun. So I think that's all the things I got for there. Maybe.
Well,
thanks to my mom.
Don't think us yet, Kyle, because there was a bit of a snafu, let's say, in the middle of the race there, as there was some battling going on there at the front, but we got it fixed, and we're back here for the end, so it's one of those things that happen with software. But anyways, Kyle, thank you so much for great showings here in both the races, and thank you for shouting us out, even though, to be honest, I don't think I deserve your shout-outs tonight, my man.
You always deserve the shout-outs, but thank you so much. Right. I look forward to hopefully talking to you guys again next week. We'll see.
There we go. All right, there we go. Kyle Robertson, P3 tonight. Thank you very much, and we'll pull him out of the way. We got how much time
Charles.
we got left, Adam? Yep.
Well, we do have some people, but the problem is that the computer's going on the fritz again. I have just lost. Okay. I've lost everything again. We are doing some massive frame drops here, because that's just what things like to do out here in the middle of nowhere in Nevada at about 7 o'clock at night when everybody gets on the internet. So let's see here for just 1 second if we can get
Seth in here, since he sponsored the race.
Back. We do need to get Seth in here. And Seth, before you come in here, it looks like the connection issues are back all of a sudden. All right. I hope people can understand what you're trying to say. We do have connection issues, but we're back now. So Seth, welcome in. You finished P15, and Charles, I will let you take the interview, but you finished P15. You lost a couple spots, but we're not here to talk to you about that. We're here to talk to you about the sponsorship tonight. So, first of all, Seth, this broadcast would not be possible without you, my man. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And also, of course, thanks to Wayne, who happens to be a pretty good buddy of mine and someone whom I've met and raced with in real life. So I'm glad to sort of team up with Wayne to fund the broadcast for this session.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you once again. I'll reiterate what Adam said. Thank you very much for sponsoring tonight. We do thank Wayne as well. So because I heard you guys talking in kind of the warm ups. So tell me about Kings County and what's going on with that, because you said the word that kind of piqued my interest there as you were discussing it.
It's the official bourbon of sim racing.
There you go.
So do not, please enjoy Kings County responsibly. Do not drink and sim race. But whether you win or lose, celebrate or, salve your wounds with Kings County. It's
So
it's made. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure I've got my boss watching this broadcast right now because I told him what I did, which was maybe a mistake after I've done so bad tonight. But Tyler, if you're watching this broadcast, Kings County, buddy, he's a big bourbon guy. So there you go. You might have one of them.
Well, and it is it's a great product. My brother grew up with me in Eastern Kentucky, and he ended up learning how to make moonshine because he was interested in it, and he'd bring it to parties in New York City, where he lives now, and everybody wanted it, and it was nasty and awful, and he thought, I can do better than this. And he and a buddy of his saw that the laws were changing, and it had been illegal to distill in New York City since well before Prohibition, and they changed it to allow craft distilleries. So he and his business partner have New York City's oldest distillery, established in the 2000s at some point. But it is one of the first craft distilleries in the United States. They've won all kinds of awards. It's some of the best bourbon out there. And Colin, my brother, Colin Spoolman, also has written a book called How to Make and Drink Whiskey. So if you are really interested in bourbon, which is this distinctly American drink, Colin is your guy. So we normally talk about sim equipment and so forth, but seeing as I'm not very good, I need to band-aid my poor performance with Kings County.
Well, I mean, I won't speak for Adam, but I think I know him well enough to say that both of us, being current and former military men, we figured out the drinking part already. So it would be the making part that we would have to learn about. So,
Exactly.
I guess the next question is it available in Alabama? Because I know Alabama's a little weird about their laws.
If you go to, I think it's just kingscountydistillery.com, you will figure out you can find out which stores have it and how to obtain it, because it is sold nationwide, and shipped where it's allowed to be shipped, which is not everywhere. But one way or another, you can figure out which state you have to drive to get your Kings County.
There you go. So I guess let's talk about the racing for just a minute, since we got off of the subject. So you were,
I like this subject though.
No, I mean, it's a great subject. I mean, but you finished 15th, but you had a really good battle there, I think, for most of the race with Dennis Daniel and Josh Justice and Antonio Reese. So you're in kind of that mid-pack group, but I mean, obviously
I saw Josh and Antonio coming. I knew I was done for. I was really happy kind of being where I was, because I couldn't catch the guy in front of me, and I was just kind of, I'm sad to say, but I have a bad enough corner exit in general in just my life that what I end up doing if I'm having a good day is I can just kind of cling by my fingernails to the end of the draft, the lead pack. And that's kind of where I was, and I saw Josh and Antonio coming, and I thought maybe I'd be able to hold them off, but between like getting nervous and like having fewer tires and both of those guys being a lot better than I am, they both ended up getting by. I had more fun in the Jetta race because I feel like I'm not terrible at those still.
Yeah. I mean, I think Adam and I both, we don't like the cars, and it could be just because they're probably one of the more difficult. Okay, hate the car. They're probably one of the more difficult cars to kind of wrap your head around, because everything else is all rear-wheel drive, front turning. Most either, a lot of them are front engine. You got some mid-engine cars in the GTs, but the TCR being just such a kind of a different animal, being front-wheel drive with some really good power and some good straight line speed, it makes it quite a difficult kind of thing to wrap your head around.
Well, except that I'm sort of a front-wheel drive specialist in real life. Right, okay. And I'm still terrible at these cars, and they bug me. I hope iRacing's listening. Give me a H pattern front wheel drive car. That's the one thing that's missing from iRacing, and I'd really love a good H pattern front wheel drive. Super slow. It can't be fast. And that's probably like my problem, because Yeah, that would be great. Get us
There
a
you go.
B-Spec, a true B-Spec equivalent, because whenever we do this, when we try to do the B-Spec, we end up running Clios or we end up running the Jetta. And the Jetta's fun, but it's weird, right? Like it's just a weird car. And a lot of people in real life, race EF Honda Civics, nobody races the Suzuki Swift GT except me. But people have cheap front-wheel drive manual shift cars, and they're a lot of fun. And that's what I'd really like to see. And I'd like to see iRacing get the physics right. I think that the TCR cars, my problem is they just have so much power. I don't know how to drive them because, they'll rotate on braking, but then when you punch the gas, they just wash out every time. And even when you're really ginger, I feel like I keep backing it up and try to be more patient with the gas, and I can't be patient enough. and that's sort of the problem.
Well, there you go. I think I did read that there's supposed to be a pretty massive TCR update here in the next either the upcoming season or the season to follow. So hopefully they'll get some things worked out and things will improve on the TCR side. But Seth, thank you very much for stopping in. Thank you again for sponsoring the TCR race tonight, and we'll let you have the last word.
I figured it was the only way I could get to talk to you is to sponsor the broadcast. I'm never going to make a podium. But practice makes podium. I'm here enjoying this for all the people. Like, I've decided that I do this because I like it, and I hope in a world of lifelong learning I continue to get a little faster. But if I don't, I'm not going to quit, and I'm just going to try and have the most fun I can. And this is a great place to do it. So. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to SMB. Thank you to StimMotion. I think they're still a sponsor, and I just bought some stuff from them, and it's awesome. So, everybody, until next time, it was great.
All right. Thank you very much, Seth, and we'll see you next time. So, Seth Spolman, thank you very much. And I believe that wraps everything up for tonight, Adam. So,
one second. We've got a bit of. We've got some things here in the chat, so people want to watch because I screwed up a little bit. Well, not me, my computer screwed up a little bit.
Yep.
We have a little bit more time. I'm okay to run this over just a little bit.
Okay.
People want to watch the Ian Anderson Kyle Robertson battle there in the last lap. So we're gonna have to go back to that real quick. We're gonna go back, and I think we can kind of get to the chopper here to watch this as long as the replay actually comes back, and it does.
Yep.
So
awesome.
Here we go. So we're watching here as Ian Anderson is behind Robertson for now. Robertson, obviously, the move there on the inside, or that Ian Anderson, the move there on the inside. And we can see it's going to get real spicy here real quick.
Yeah.
So maybe. This is a whole lap, by the way. This is going on, guys. So we're going to watch this whole lap from the chopper view. Now Robertson lets him by. This is what I think Robertson is like, okay. I thought I knew Robertson was going to do, but this is where they wanted to watch it. So we'll slow it down. Just a little bit of contact there, but I do need to keep an eye. Just watch this. Ian Anderson, obviously in front now. Just watch the save here as he's careening off through the grass, about to go through Lamar. Unbelievable save there by Ian Anderson, and that really was the overtake there by Kyle Robertson. Yeah. So there you go. You guys have now watched it.
There you go. Yeah, great save by Anderson for sure. Probably a little overly optimistic there by Robertson moving to the inside of that corner, and you saw the contact pretty light as far as things go, but obviously. Great job by Anderson again to get that car saved, but not enough to keep it in the middle of the track and Robertson able to take advantage. So with that, we will be back, I think, next week, and we'll be back to the start of the round robin, back with the Spec Miata and Spec Racer 4 Group 1 next week. And I'm not sure where that is, but we will. I know where it will be. It'll be on Slow Motion Broadcasting. So you'll see it right here. Live, and whatever track we might be at, it'll be a great race because obviously I love the Spec Racers, and the Spec Miatas are great fun. So looking forward to that. So for Adam Thompson, doing double duty, doing a great job. Very thankful to have Adam here. Even with computer snafus, we'll have to feed the hamsters beforehand next time. But I am Charles Boshell. Thank you very much for watching Ray Sports Club Racing League here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. We will see you next week, same time, same channel. Thank you so much, and see you later.
I'm going to make you do that one again, Charles, here in just a second. I do have the upcoming broadcast up. Saturday, December 6th is going to be the next one here on Slow Motion Broadcasting for the Formula Vs at Brand Hatch. Then on Sunday, December 7th, Watkins Glen International in the Formula Fords. Weekend Warriors again. Spec Racer Fords for the Weekend Warriors are back this weekend as well. I believe, Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the penultimate race here for these guys, correct?
I believe so. I think.
Yeah.
No, I think this is finale weekend for the Spec Racer and Formula Fords. It'll be week 13 V runoffs next week.
There you go. So this is the final chance for some people to gain some championship positions here. Then on Sunday, December 7th, again at 8:30 p.m., Liberty Bell coming to you from Okayama. The full course should be a good one. Then we got a bit of a big break. Welcome to week 13, everybody. The next one you're going to see is going to be the following Sunday here, unless we, again, pick some more up. But it's going to be XSLR coming back at you from Echo Park Speedway, Atlanta Rallycross. It's going to be the final race in the Rallycross cars, and I believe Charles may be happy about that. But the problem is we go to TCRs after that. So, yeah, that's
I'm holding out for F3s. I'm just saying.
Exactly. I think we all are. F-Rock on Wednesday, December 17th, and then back XSLR and XSLR again on December 21st and December 28th. Again, VIR and Road America. Those are going to be both in TCRs. So it was nice knowing you guys. I was glad to get some podiums and some wins while I did. I'm not going to get them probably until we get to the F3s, like I think a lot of us are thinking. But Charles, you want to go back through that again? Just go ahead and hit the outro one more time.
Oh, yeah, one more time. So, hey, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, Ray Esports Club Racing League. Take care. Have a good night.